Good evening, Garden City. I'd like to call to order a regular scheduled council meeting for Monday, October 19th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Our first order of business is our opening ceremony, which will consist of the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for those service members that have given their lives while defending our country. Would everybody please stand? I'd like to, at this time, call the meeting back to order. Councilmember DeMichael took ill during the national anthem. Our prayers are with her for a speedy recovery. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Miller to take the roll call, please.
Mayor Walker.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Kerwin.
Absent and excused.
Councilmember Squires.
Here.
Councilmember DeMichael. Thank you.
Absent.
Councilmember Earl.
Absent and excused.
Councilmember Jacobs.
Here.
Councilmember Lynch.
Here.
You do have a quorum with 4 members present, Mayor.
We're running thin tonight, but we'll
Yes.
still take care of city business.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item 4, approval of the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Lynch.
I move for the approval of the agenda for Monday, October 19th, 2020, as presented. Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. We have no recognition tonight. I don't see anybody here from the county or the state. No presentation. Community events, I'm going to call up Parks and Rec Director Brad Chasen.
Council. I just want to take a minute to talk about some of the events that we'll be hosting here on the next couple of weeks. We have a Halloween skate that we have scheduled for this coming Saturday. This is our usual event that we've hosted in previous years as well. So we wanted to bring it back so then that way the city of Garden City had something to look forward to for our ice arena. So that will be this coming Saturday, October 24th from 7:30 to 9 p.m. We are charging a $5 entry and then $3 for skate rental. And we are asking or encouraging people to pre-register ahead of time because that event usually does fill up quite quickly. So, and then on top of that, we're going to actually do a costume contest during the event as well, which will give out a trophy to the winner of that event. So, then on to our next event, we are going to have an event called Nerf Wars. This will be held at Maplewood Community Center in the gymnasium on Saturday, November 7th. The fee will be $15, but that will include the Nerf guns, the safety glasses, and lots of Nerf darts. So we're going to have 2 different age groups for this event. Ages 7 to 9 will start at 9 a.m. and we'll have 12 spots for that one. And then at 11 a.m., we'll have years 10 and 12, and there'll be 12 spots for that event as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Mayor? Hey, Brett, you said 7 to 9 a.m. for the, or 9:30 to 11 a.m. for the skate, Halloween skate?
7:30 to 9 p.m. Yep.
Anybody else for Mr. Chasen? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Move on to petitions and communications. I just want to update the residents a little bit. We're finally seeing some of our road projects come to an end. I know it's been a big inconvenience for a lot of the residents, but you're going to have that with construction, especially in Michigan, the orange barrels. But I tell you, when it's over with, it's nice to have the nice roads. In the last week or so, they've finally finished Hubbard, Donnelly, Roslyn, Pardo and Schumann, and Elizabeth. There's still some, I know on Donnelly and Roslyn, there's some approaches that should be done this week, weather permitting, and next week they got some shoulder work to work on. So we're getting close. And then next we're gonna go do mill and fill, which is removing 1 inch of the top layer and putting a 1 inch cap of new asphalt. We can do that when the base is in good condition. A lot of people wonder, why did we get chip seal? Well, those roads aren't in that bad a shape, and we're trying to save our road dollars and stretch them as far as we can. And we do chip seal where we can. Other roads, the base is too shot, too many potholes. You gotta redo the whole thing. So we're going to be doing mill and fill on Crowder, Birch Lawn area near Harrison. We're going to do that one block of James with new asphalt that was kind of tore up when they did the cement work on Cardwell. So we're learning each year. I know there was at least one contractor that was not awarded a contract this year because we weren't happy with them and their work last year, and that's probably going to happen again next year with one of the contractors we're not happy with this year. So we learn, we move on, we try to find better contractors, but I just ask the residents to be patient. As we get these roads done, they're going to be nice, you're going to like it, the property values are going to go up, and you're going to save on car repairs because you're going to be driving down a nice, smooth road. So we're getting close, and in December, I will announce the roads that we plan on doing in 2021. So let's get the roads done in 2020. We're getting real close, and then in December, I'll announce and there was a few roads that were supposed to get done this year on the chip seal. Due to issues we had, we didn't get there. They will be the first up next year. They will move on to next year's list. So we're doing the best we can. We're learning as we go and making changes as we go. So stay tuned. Okay, moving on to item 10. We have no public hearings tonight. Move on to item 11, the consent agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Lynch.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda, items 11A, 1 through 4.
Support from Councilmember Squires. You want to mention the board and commissions?
Yes. Item number 4A was the elected officials compensation commission, the appointment of Joe Bandy to fill an unexpired term, 9/30/23, and the reappointment of Kirk Tinstad until 9/30/27.
Okay, any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Moving on to item B, our action items. We'll move on to the contract extension for cross-connection control program. I'm going to call up our DPS director, Mr. Brad Oman.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is to approve a 3-year contract extension with HydroCorps of Troy, Michigan to administer our cross-connection control program. The Michigan Safe Drinking Water Act requires all water suppliers in the state of Michigan to have a comprehensive cross-connection program. HydroCorps has been doing this for us for about a decade. A cross-connection is a combination or arrangement of piping through which backflow of contaminated water could enter the public drinking water supply. Backflow can be caused by back pressure, back siphonage, or a combination of both. As part of this program, HydroCorp performs inspections of our 655 commercial accounts to make sure all accounts are in compliance with proper backflow prevention. HydroCorp also administers and prepares our annual report to the state. Pricing will remain the same for this 3-year contract extension.
Yep, and this protects our drinking water. Any comments to Mr. Omen? Okay, motion's in order. Councilmember Jacobs.
I move to approve the 3-year contract extension for the Cross Connection Control Program with HydroCorp of Troy, Michigan, in an amount not to exceed $18,564 per year.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Any further comments from the table, from the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Item 2 is Marquette Avenue tree planting. Motion's in order, then I'll have Mr. Omen speak on this.
Mayor,
Councilmember Squires.
I move to approve the contract with Davy Tree of Canton, Michigan, to plant 52 trees along Marquette Avenue median from INKSTER Road to VENOY Road in the amount not to exceed $30,006.60.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. Mr. Omen?
Yes, Mayor. We did some tree planting in the spring with Davy Tree being the lowest responsible bidder. We planted trees along Cherry Hill and then the Maplewood Boulevard. This fall, we will be doing Marquette Avenue in the median from INKSTER to VENOY with 52 trees. Upon the recommendation of the Davy Tree arborist, we'll be planting 3 different species of trees. These will be the Red Point Maple, the Swamp White Oak, and the Princeton Elm. Davy Tree will be keeping the same unit pricing for the fall planting as they did in the spring.
Yep. I want to make a few comments. Noticed on social media, people planting trees in the medians, like on Marquette or on Maplewood, and then the city had to cut them down and take them down, and they're going nuts. Why would the city do that? There's several reasons, but please don't plant anything on city property unless you call and get it approved. And some of the reasons is some of the trees are low hanging, and then the traffic going up down. If a little kid was running across, say Marquette, and a car couldn't see him because of the low hanging limbs on a tree. So there's certain trees we plant and we keep them trimmed. So that's just one of the reasons, but we're trying to make Garden City better. We planted a lot of trees already this summer along INKSTER Road and on Maplewood. And now we're going to be planting 52 trees on Marquette from INKSTER to VENOY, 52 trees. So for those of you that, aren't aware, we are making changes in Garden City to make Garden City beautiful. We are Garden City, but please don't plant shrubbery. And that's another thing, they're planting shrubs. Shrubbery or trees on city property, on the medians. Call the DPS before you do. They may allow, it depends what you want to do, but that's pretty much what DPS does. But because you're gonna plant them, they're gonna get cut down, especially if you plant the wrong type. So just wanted to get that out there for the residents. And go ahead.
Just double checking, these trees that are being planted, they're beautiful trees. They have the root system that goes down low rather than interfering with the cement work?
Correct,
Okay.
but the medium on Marquette is wide enough, really any tree could be planted there.
Okay.
But these are disease-resistant type trees, vary in color for the fall, so I think they're gonna look really nice.
They're gonna be beautiful.
That's why I said there's more than 1 or 2 reasons, but just want residents to understand. We're not trying to be mean or whatever, but, please don't plant on city property. We got a motion and a second. Any further questions for Mr. Omen from the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Sidewalk improvements to Helen Park. Councilmember Lynch.
I move to approve an agreement between Wayne County and Garden City for improvements to Helen Park with funding derived from Wayne County.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Jacobs. Parks and Rec Director, Mr. Chasen's going to come back up on this one.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. This is just the agreement between Wayne County and Garden City for the improvements of Helen Park. As you guys may recall, we did receive the same grant last year, but it was not enough to cover the costs of the sidewalk. We were granted again the Wayne County Park grant for this again, thanks to Glenn Anderson, at the amount of $16,723. So this should give us enough to do that now. So we're pretty excited.
And I want to say a few more things. Again, we're trying to beautify Garden City, make our parks nicer. One of the things, we want to make our city walkable, ADA compliant, where kids and people with wheelchairs can go around the block on the sidewalk and not have to go out into the street when the sidewalk ends, when there's a house without a sidewalk. But before we can get there, we need to fix city property. So if you've noticed, in our city parks, we've put sidewalks. We've done it at Kiwanis Park, Helen Park, Rotary Park, Manor Park. So we're taking care of us first. So down the road, when we ask residents to put in a sidewalk or when a property changes hands, that's probably when we're going to make sure that a sidewalk goes in. But eventually, I don't know how many years it's going to take, but we want our city to be a walkable, ADA compliant city. And this is a start, and that's why you're seeing a lot of these sidewalks going in on city property and city parks. So we're leading by example. Absolutely. So any other comments from the table on this? From the general public? Mr. Molnar.
I'll say the same thing I did last time on this. You're running this between Helen inside the park, on both sides.
Yes, sir.
It makes no sense. I don't know why you want to put a sidewalk on both sides of that park when it's only, what, 40 foot wide or less?
It's 2 lots wide. It's 2 lots deep. It
Two
goes from
lots
Helen to
deep, but
Deering.
it's one lot wide.
Yep.
This sidewalks, sorry, sir, this sidewalks actually go through the park, wrap around the playground and come out the other end. So right now, currently, to get into that park, you'd have to go across grass, which isn't conducive to ADA compliance for,
It would be different if this was a big park. This is just 2 lots.
yeah,
And you're going to put sidewalks on both sides of the lots.
to go through the park. This goes through the park, yeah.
But, ain't going to be one on each side, is the way I understood it last time?
Well, I believe that we already have them on the,
We already have sidewalk on each side.
You have it in the front, I understand, by the road.
This is going through the
this is
park.
to go through
This
the
is going
park.
through the middle of that park.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is probably 47 foot wide or 40 foot wide. And now you're going to run 2 sidewalks on each side of it, all the way through it.
It's too
From one
bad.
street to
It's
the
too
other street. It's, and nothing against the park, but it's a local little park that the kids in the neighborhood probably are the only one that ever use that park. And it makes no sense at
It's for
all.
wheelchairs and scooters and strollers and things. It's not just for,
It makes no
walking.
sense.
yeah, but it's larger park than that. Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Do I have to come up there or can I stand here?
We're just on this item here. Are you,
What?
this, you want to comment on what we're on right now?
Yeah, about the trees and the sidewalks.
The sidewalk.
Sidewalk is what I want to talk about.
At Helen Park.
No,
Okay, you want to come up under public comments, ma'am?
gotcha.
Okay. Anybody else on sidewalk improvements to Helen Park? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This motion passes 4-0. We're moving on to coronavirus emergency, Michigan Indigent Defense Commission grant. I'm going to call up Police Chief Tim Gibbons.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This is our 3rd year participation in the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission grant. It was stems from a state law passed in 2013 to increase legal access to indigent defendants here at Garden City of the 21st District Court. The grant funds attorneys for indigent defendants and also the 60% of the cost of police officer, so he can make in-custody defendants accessible to their attorneys. And they've also made some upgrades to the court area in order to make more private space for indigent defendants to meet with attorneys who are out of custody and in custody. So I'm asking for approval of the 2020 to 2021 contract year agreement to pay for those things.
Okay.
Mayor?
Motion's in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Jacobs.
I move to authorize the city manager to execute the attached Michigan Indigent Defense Commission grant contract between the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission and the City of Garden City for $138,584.08.
Support by Councilmember Lynch. And just for the residents, the state grant contribution to us is $129,654, and our match is $8,929.66. So we love grants.
Yes.
Any other comments from the table, from the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Now we move on to Coronavirus Emergency Supplement Funding Grant, another grant. Chief Gibbons, you're up again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, in August, we applied for some funding that was made available to us through the state. Cities and the police departments who weren't available for direct funding from the CARES Act from the federal government were allotted specific amounts of money through the state police to local police departments to purchase things and any expenses related to the response to, preparation for, and prevention of the coronavirus. Specifically, what we applied for was technology grants. We were able to place officers in different parts of the department and use remote work where we could for paperwork and things like that. So we needed greater Wi-Fi access, more laptop computers, video conferencing equipment, and we also had some incidentals like supplies like face masks, shelves to place a lot of the PPE equipment we've gotten. So we placed a grant for that, and we were approved for $18,435.71. That's not a matching grant, that's just direct funding for those items.
We get the whole 18K.
Get the whole
That's
18K.
awesome. Okay, motion's in order. Councilmember Squires.
I move to authorize the Chief of Police to execute the attached Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Grant contract between the Michigan State Police and the City of Garden City Police Department for $18,435.71.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Jacobs. Any further comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Now we move on to another grant, a regional award for 4 cardiac monitors. Councilmember Lynch.
I move to accept the AFG Regional Grant Award for 4 cardiac monitors with a 10% match-up to $14,000, and to authorize the city manager, fire chief to execute all necessary documents.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Chief Harmon, did you want to say anything on these cardiac monitors? I'll give you the opportunity. Another grant of $14,000, and we only got to come up with a 10% match. That's awesome.
Well, it was 144,000 actually.
I'm sorry, I said it wrong.
Correct.
You're right.
And that was 15 communities that jumped in on this grant. Lisa
Yeah.
Martin, who's a lieutenant from the Dearborn Heights Fire Department, she wrote the grant. All the other communities jumped on board. And it's a combination of defibrillators, AEDs, or the cardiac monitors that we use. So I really appreciate you doing this. This will get us up to date. We'll have the exact same monitors, because currently what we have are some monitors that were 4 years old that we were able to, able to get from a grant previously in about 2009. So this will put us up to date with the most current available defibrillators, AED monitors available. So thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. Any further comments from the table? Did I get a motion and a second on this?
Yes.
Yep.
Lynch and Squires.
Lynch and Squires, okay. Anybody from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Now we're going to, item 7, call for a public hearing for proposed ordinance amendment for fire code violations. Before I ask for the motion, I'm going to call up the Fire Marshal, Brian Fennerin. He's going to talk about this item, item 7.
Mayor and council. Several moving parts to this. The first part was that we were on the 2006 fire code. We need to update that to the 2018 code. Second portion of it, at this point, they are misdemeanors. If we write citations on the code, we would like to make those municipal civil infractions. Right now, it's a criminal offense. We would like to make it punitive, make it a fine. The goal here is compliance. We want to get the items fixed and make things safe. So we need to pressure people with their pocketbook. I'm having real good success getting people to cooperate. I'm not going to go out and write a million tickets, but if and when I do have to, I want to be able to gain compliance. And then the third part of it is just setting up those fines in the fine schedule. So,
Any questions for the Fire Marshal? Okay, motion's in order.
Mayor?
Councilmember Jacobs.
I move to introduce amendments to Chapter 91, 91.03 of the City of Garden City ordinances by adopting by reference to 2018 International Fire Code with modifications to 110.4 of such code and provide for violations of that code to be municipal civil infractions, as well as amending Chapter 41 and 41.06 of the Garden City Ordinance to include civil fines for violations of the 2018 International Fire Code and to call for a public hearing for Monday, November 23rd, 2020.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Moving on to item 8, Garden City Goodfellows Annual Newspaper Street Sales. Councilmember Lynch.
I move to grant permission to the Garden City Goodfellows to hold their annual newspaper street sales on November 27th, 28th, and 29th. Sales would take place at the following intersections: Middle Belton Ford, Middle Belton Warren, Merriman and Ford, Venoy and Ford, and Merriman and Cherry Hill.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Jacobs. Kim Dole texted me at the start of this meeting that she will get the hold harmless agreement over to the city clerk with the insurance that they have to provide before we can allow them to collect funding in the streets, and that she will make that happen. So any other comments from the table, from the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Moving on to item 9, call for a public hearing regarding updates on city ordinances. To call for a public hearing on November 23rd.
Mayor,
Councilmember Squires.
I move to consider proposed changes to Garden City ordinances and to call for a public hearing for Monday, November 23rd, 2020.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Jacobs. Anybody from the table? General public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Now we'll move on to item 12, public comments for items that were not on the agenda. I have Shirley Rodriguez that wants to come up. I got a note here.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am.
I have never been up here before, and I've been in Garden City for years and years. I need to talk about the sidewalk. I was walking on the other side of Middle Belt, walking to go to Rite Aid. I love walking. So, your sidewalks One was a little higher than the other, and I really damaged my face all the way down. I have pictures to show it, you don't mind.
Yeah, we'd like to see them, and we'd like to know where, exactly where, so we,
Between, just before Lucky Dog's driveway, a welding company, I think it's
Okay.
called.
okay, we'll check that out for sure. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You want to give me the? She's getting. Oh, she's getting the pictures. I had all this. My throat is even bruised. I couldn't open my right eye for 3 days. It wouldn't come open, just like this. I had knots on here. I had scabs all over my face. And I didn't look in a mirror for 3 days.
I'm
And
sorry that happened, ma'am.
I made a report at the police station, and the gentleman that took it, I didn't get his name, said, "You did this on the sidewalk?" And I said, "Yeah." And he took pictures and everything, and then he comes back out and tells me that I talked to my boss, it's a miscellaneous accident. It wasn't a miscellaneous accident. Your curb, the cement is up higher than the other one.
Okay,
And I fell flat, and I was out for about 2 minutes, and then I kind of woke up because I didn't know what I did, and I couldn't lift my face on this side up at all.
okay.
And
Ms. Rodriguez, I have your name, I have your phone number here. I will give this to the city manager and the city clerk, and they will look at it and they'll call you, and if you want to stay after the meeting, we can look at the pictures on your phone.
okay.
Okay?
I also have pictures of the sidewalk. how
That's, we'd like to see them, but we'll talk to you after the meeting. But I have your information, we will look into this, we will get back with you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming. Anybody else that would like to speak under public comments? Okay,
Nope, that's me.
okay. And your name, ma'am?
Nancy Freebie.
Nancy what?
Freebie.
Okay,
Okay, I've lived at the towers for 6 years. I have got a motorized wheelchair.
okay,
I also drive around in it, and the sidewalks in Garden City in this area are absolutely horrible. They're up this high. I have to take my wheelchair onto the grass to get over it. The school that's down on Maplewood, I don't remember. My granddaughter lives down there. The ramps that you have to get on to the sidewalk, I can't take my wheelchair up there. It's ridiculous. This road in front is absolutely horrible. I have caught my walker on the road and almost flipped. And I feel you're putting trees out on the sides of the road, and right here in front of the city hall, the road and sidewalk is horrible, absolutely horrible.
Okay.
I don't need to fall. I've had 10 back surgeries, and it is not nice to come home and my back throbbing with pain.
okay, ma'am. And
I
again,
do believe the sidewalks are more important than a tree.
again, if we could get the information in some of these areas that you're talking about after the meeting, we'll definitely look into them.
Okay, and when they did something out here on Middle Belt and Lock, there's a big hump there. They just threw the asphalt down, didn't flatten it. I mean, it's horrible, a big hump. I can't get my wheelchair to go across it,
Okay,
okay?
we'll look into it. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh, thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Jones?
You commented about this, Mayor, earlier, but I just wanted to second the comments and give my kudos to the contractors for the work on Donnelly. The street was terrible before you started working on it. Now it's beautiful. There's a little bit of work still to be done on the on the approaches and what have you, but I'm assured that that will be done within the next week, and my compliments, because I now have a smooth street to drive down. You could even drive your wheelchair down it, and there wouldn't be any problems.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, city managers report.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick things. Received a call, I believe, last week from Fire Chief. Looks like our Lucas device, once again, was involved in saving somebody's life. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, at least a third person or more. For those that aren't sure about what I'm talking about, the council approved 6 months to a year ago, maybe at this point, where a machine, a device that can actually continue with CPR, to save people's lives instead of the manual usage. This machine actually takes its place. It was a small investment, and already we're seeing saving people's lives, the benefit coming from that. Number two, Halloween this year, it's in 10 days, give or take. Saturday, October 31st, and in case anybody's wondering, we received a number of calls in the age of COVID at City Hall of trick-or-treating or what's being allowed or not allowed throughout the state. So city doesn't sanction Halloween trick-or-treating. No city does. It's really just kind of a national recognized event. All we can do is make a suggestion. So for anybody that's interested or wondering about when there might be trick-or-treating, our suggestion from City Hall is for Saturday, October 31st, 5:30 to 8:30 in the evening. So again, it's not something we sanction. It's not something we can get rid of either. So if you are interested, leave porch lights on. If you're not interested in people coming to your door, keep your porch lights off. And as always, drive slowly as much as possible on that evening. Kids will be out, I'm sure, from 3, 4, 5 o'clock on. But we really recognize 5:30 to 8:30 for trick-or-treating for those that are interested and have fun. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Miller, do you have anything for us tonight?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I have only one item this evening. Tomorrow is 2 weeks from the election, November 3rd. If you have any absentee ballots, please make sure that you vote them, sign the outside envelope, and return them to City Hall as soon as you can. The sooner we get them back, it will help us with processing on Election Day. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Lynch.
Yes, I have two things. First, scams are abounding lately. I know someone that got a call supposedly from the IRS, and basically the person on the other end kept getting more aggressive and more aggressive, wanting personal information from the senior. Do not give out your personal information. I got one and was told that my social security number was being used in the south of Texas by illegal immigrants just the other day. You got that one too? No, it's not, because yours and mine aren't even related and they're both being used, right? So please, if you don't know who's calling you, if you have an answering machine, let it go to the answering machine. But whatever you do, the IRS is not going to come calling. Just remember that. Do not give out your personal information. And they're pretty skilled at getting it out of you without you even realizing it sometimes. So if it sounds like something that's a little bit off, just hang up on them. And then I want to send Councilwoman DeMichael my best wishes for a speedy recovery. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Jacobs?
Just a couple things. One, in regards to the piles of asphalt usually on the sidewalk, Mr. Doherty and I did some drive-arounds during the summer, and a lot of that's DTE. And when they replace something, a line or whatever, DTE just seems to throw a pile of asphalt on the sidewalk and leaves it till they decide they want to come back. Personally, Mr. Doherty, I'd love to get a hold of somebody over there and maybe show pictures or address it somehow so it's not unsafe. I mean, we try to require everybody around us in the city to have a safe driveway or approach or sidewalk, and DTE seems to be above all that. And I agree with the mess they make with the asphalt piles there. To me, there's no excuse for it. So if we could do that, and hopefully Ms. DeMichael, she feels well soon. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Squires?
Yeah, a couple things. To the city manager, I would like to see a priority put on finding and repairing our sidewalks, especially around the towers, because many of the residents I know do not have cars to drive, and they have to walk to go get something to eat or to go to a store or whatever, and it is dangerous. But if we could put a priority on this section, like going towards downtown, or I think that would be great. And I'm sorry that you had the mishaps that you've had. And also, my prayers are going out to Councilwoman DeMichael for a speedy recovery. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to thank the residents that come out. I know one of you said you've never been here before, and we don't want people to be nervous about coming to talk to us. If there's an issue in Garden City, come see us at the council meeting, exactly what you did tonight. We appreciate you coming out. We'll definitely look into your concerns. And again, all of us are worried and concerned about Councilmember DeMichael, and our prayers are with her and her family, that she gets a speedy recovery. No further business. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.